Welcome back to the next episode of my Stationeers playthrough. So, I've just reloaded the game, and you'll remember at the end of the last episode I had died from inhaling hot gas, respawned, picked up my equipment from my corpse and dropped my corpse. But when I reloaded, I was dead, as you can see, with apparently lung damage. So I'm quite confused by this. I think this is a bit of a weird glitch, but nonetheless, first thing I do is respawn. So having respawned, I'm now standing near the base. So I thought, okay, that's fine. Maybe this is the version of me who died before. I can't even get up here now. But the first weird thing is, this is me. This is the version of me that picked up my kit off the corpse at the end of the last episode. And then, more weirdly, this is also the version of me that died last episode. So I am now a third version of myself, which is very confusing. Unfortunately, this character here is completely impossible to interact with. In fact, about the most I can do is I can smash into his head until I can see the inside of his brain. But I cannot interact with him in any way. So that's obviously a bit of a problem. I've come up with a workaround though. So knowing that this is not working in this way, what I have done is I've gone into the options, I've turned up the hunger and thirst rates to maximum. And obviously that affects me, but it's also going to affect this character here as well. The idea is I'm basically going to kill him with thirst and then loot his body for all my stuff. So you'll see my thirst is dropping quite quickly. It's already down at 71. It's obviously going to be a bit of a nuisance for me. I'll turn it back down again to a more normal level once we've dealt with this guy. But in the short term, I think that's about all we can do. Meanwhile, over here, the original corpse of me is decaying away, and I suspect will quite soon, will just pop and it'll be a skeleton, and all that temporary gear will disappear. In the meantime, I'm wearing an emergency suit, so I've only got the very basic gear. However, we're going to crack on. We're trying to get the control room up and running. So what I've obviously realised from last time is welding with hot gas is not a good idea. So we are going to use an arc welder. So we've upgraded the tool manufacturer to level 2, and that means that we can make both the arc welder and the arc welder Mark II. So the Mark II requires steel, electrum, invar and solder, 10, 14, 5 and 10. Or the Mark I requires the same materials, 10, 10, 5 and 10. So other than 4G of electrum, there's really no difference between the level 1 and the level 2 arc welder. I'm assuming they work. The level 2 works better though. So if we can get some invar, electrum, solder and steel into here, which I'm sure we can do because we've got the technology to make it here, we are going to make an arc welder, because that uses electricity rather than hot gas to do the weld, which generates a lot less waste heat. So hopefully that will avoid a recurrence of last episode's little accident. Now, knowing that I'm going to be using something that's going to use probably quite a lot of power, feels like it would need quite a lot of power, I am going to print another battery and get that charging. Then I'm going to pull some from here, some invar, which we have got, some solder. Right, that's interesting. I've actually just at the bottom of the screen there very briefly just had a null reference exception. That does suggest that something's gone a bit wrong. Anyway, nonetheless, you can see this guy's starting to die now, so that's good. Obviously I am as well. That's how it goes. Hopefully I can stop myself from dying though. Right, so now what we're going to do is we need the contents of here. Solder. Thank you, I'll take it. Right, I'll just be careful with these and bring them and put them straight through. Okay, so we've got the solder. We need Invar, Electrum and steel. All of which we should have. Right, so there's an Invar. Oh, that's Constantan, okay. Yes, Invar's slightly bluer. Okay. Electrum. There we go, now we just need some steel in there. Oh, come on. There we go, there's some steel. Right. Okay, that's taking a little while. I'm going to just get these put away. Don't like leaving all of these ingots of precious alloys lying around. I mean, it's not like we can't make more, we have got quite a lot of resources, but it's still just a bit of a pain. There we go, right, okay, so that's now reloaded. Then hopefully over here we should have a beautiful arc welder. Although I think I stupidly made a Tech 1 arc welder when I could have just as well made the Tech 2, yes. Well, that was particularly dumb, wasn't it? Yeah, it really doesn't need very much more resources. Maybe I'll make a Tech 2 one anyway, just because I can. And I'll put this one away in here. It's a bit of a waste of resources, but we've got loads, so that's fine. Tech 2 crowbar. Incredible that such things should exist. Right, there we go. I mean, it's worth having a decent one of these. We're going to be doing quite a bit of welding. State of that 69, still charging. Okay, I'm going to go inside and grab some water. Because unlike our friend out there, I would like to not die.
Hunger caution.
Yeah, so hunger's going to be the next problem. We'll keep us going for a little while. Right, okay, so it's 25 degrees in here now. I think we can safely open at least one of these. I'm going to close that. It's 80 degrees in here. No wonder it's... keep an eye on this. I'll let the temperature come up at 42. I think that's quite enough. I'll consume a bit of that soup. Right, incredibly the plants aren't complaining at 42 degrees, but you can see the ferns in there are absolutely incinerated. I can't even work out what's going on here with so much stuff. I think it's still growing fine. Okay, well that's me fed and watered for the moment. Just look how fast it's going down. I'm already 75% water. Okay, there we go. Right, let's do this. There we go. Okay, so let's insert that into there. Nice. Okay, so this will be obviously a lot more efficient. How's this guy doing? Oh, he's getting there slowly. Have we burnt through? No, that's turned off. I thought that should have turned on by now. Okay. Right, the problem is I don't really want to go too far. I can't even shunt him into the airlock, no. Right. Okay, well, we'll go down and start working on some of this. So what we have done last time was to set up some wireless transmitters on the top side. Just temperature in here. Okay, let's let that settle. And we've set up. Yeah, very hot in here still. I'm surprised it's not melting that. Obviously, it's not going to do that. But we set up wireless transmitters on the top side, and we want to make sure that they are connected down here. So we may have some. Have I got any coils of cable? No, I've got no cable with me. Okay, right. Drop that down here so we know where it is. It's probably not the most convenient place for it, but okay, let's just take the ladder. So there are some cables in there, but there's nowhere near enough. Right. Yeah, the steel sheets are in the inventory of my other self, so that's why I'm slightly stalling at the moment. And actually we do need cables, so I can't do very much until I've got both of those things. At least we know what we need. Right, okay, let's get back up. Okay, we're very slowly dealing with the temperature. Oh, it's a terrible throw. Get in there. Right, cable coils. We're definitely going to need plenty of them anyway, so let's just get going. May have some in here as well. No. Doesn't look like it.
Hydration critical.
Okay, so once we have the cables we need, we're going to connect up the transmitters, or in fact the receiver's end that we set up the last time. We're also going to start setting up some consoles to monitor some of this stuff, and some IC chips which are going to allow us to start to give actual alerts around the base. But this is going to take quite a lot of cable, which is why I'm sort of waiting for this to finish. Is he still alive over there? Yes, he is. It's very frustrating, waste of time. Never mind. Right, how are we doing? 45. That'll do. It's enough to get started. 48. Right, he's now down to seriously unwell, I think is probably an appropriate phrase. Whoosh. Okay, temperature in here is 32. We can afford to let it go up a little bit more. Eventually we'll get it cooler in here. It feels like a losing battle because there's so much heat trapped down here. Maybe I should just bring some. Actually, temperature's only half of what pressure's only half of what we eventually need it to be. I could probably get away with bringing some ice in here. Maybe I should do exactly that. Right. Okay. So where's that purple spray? I've seen it, there it is. So I mustn't stay down here too long because I need to catch that character fairly soon after it pops, because I don't want to lose all the stuff with it flying off in all directions. However, for now, what we are going to do, is we are going to just have to be a little bit more careful with the emergency equipment, because it despawns if it's left lying around on the floor too long. Not sure if I put one in there or not. Right, and we will need one there. So let's put one in there. That one in there. That one in there. This is very fiddly because you can't really see where these are going in. So that one goes along there. Right, there we go. Okay, junction, that's right. See how quickly we're using up wire doing this. Oops. Okay. I think that's everything. Oh no, that's not quite everything connected. Right. I think that's everything connected now. Okay, with one left. Right, okay, let's go back topside and see what's going on.
Hydration critical.
Okay, we're a few degrees cooler in here now than we were. I'll turn this off actually for now. I don't know whether it generates any heat, but right, he's now collapsed at least, which is a good start. So now I can grab him. Okay, now we're in business. So let's take the uniform, take the belt, take the backpack, take the helmet, take the suit. And well, just in the nick of time. That's what happens when a corpse expires. It pops and you can see all of these emergency things that I was wearing that I've just taken off are all on a timer now. Right, so the next thing we need to do, let's just switch this out. Actually, we've got all sorts of problems now. Right, so I am now very quickly going to just adjust the hunger rate down very quickly. So I set it to maximum. I'm going to bring it down. I'm actually going to bring it down to 0.5-ish, if I can drag it there, 0.51, close enough, rather than to 1, because actually that will help us to not spend quite so much time running backwards and forwards to need to eat and drink. I don't want to turn the challenge off, but ultimately it's not the most compelling viewing for any of you watching as I keep running to feed myself. So let's deal with that, and then we will deal with the oxygen, carbon dioxide filter, which is the next thing. Hopefully, there we go. Put that in there. Let's get that printing to, never mind, chuck that in. Right, okay, and then hopefully once I've dealt with some of this, another null reference exception popped up down the bottom there. I'm not quite sure what that was all about. Hopefully that is our problems dealt with, but who can say? We'll find out, I guess, whether I keep having this problem. Right, and let's be honest, we can go in there. Right, have we got any ice in the vending machine? Because if we have, it would be useful. No, we haven't. Okay. I'm not even sure if there was any oxide very close to base. Right, here's all the bits that I didn't have. Actually, no, of course I used all the steel sheets, didn't I? I remember now. Should have been making some of those. Right, okay, back over here. Steel sheets. Let's try and get back on track, shall we? There's no ice within. I don't want to go wandering off on a big mining expedition, but I was just thinking if there's any ice within visual range of the base, but there is not. Right, there's no steel in there, that's what the problem is. Okay, well I know where there is some steel because there's some left in here. Right, let's turn that off. Right, let's just dump these in here for now. And there's the steel. Whoops, I'm stuck on there. Right. Okay, steel sheets. Oops, so I just accidentally stopped the recording there. So I've just paused the game and resumed it. Hopefully it won't even be noticeable. Right, so having said that, obviously I'm not going to edit this. I will clearly edit the 2 bits of video for this episode together. Okay, so these steel sheets, probably almost got enough. I'm going to have to go in and get some water soon anyway, or I'm going to just die.
Health low.
I think we'll let it do one more. And then that'll do. Right, okay. Oh. Didn't come out. I was too quick. Right, okay. Let's get back in. Let's grab some water. Quite a good tip when you're actually dying like that is to, as you just saw I did there, drink a bit of the water and then stop, which will be enough to move your hydration above 0 and stop your health from continuing to drop, and then drink the rest. Otherwise all the time you're drinking, potentially your health is still dropping. Right, okay, let's get in here and let's see how we get on. 49 degrees in here and 35 in there. Well, we're gradually equalising, I suppose, although I don't think I want to think about how hot it is in there still. Okay, I'll shut that door before I open this one. 76. Okay, right, okay, so let's get down here. I left the arc welder at the bottom, didn't I? So it's hopefully time to say goodbye to hot gas welding, and hello to not dying. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we are going to weld up these frames. And you can see if you look at the external temperature, it's 83, but it's not getting any hotter than 83. In fact, it's actually cooling down slightly. So this is clearly a much better solution for doing any indoor welding. Really, I'm not sure why I didn't do this before I started the last time. I know this from experience, but there we go. Sometimes you don't think of the obvious. Right, that's all of the panels. Okay. However, what we can do now is, actually, I think I might need to mine a little bit out first. Hello, where is my drill? There it is. Okay, I think we need to put a tidy up of equipment here. I'm actually going to do that. Right, okay. So this is clearly still quite a bit of welding to do down here. Not sure what's going on with some of this rock. Some very strange angles. Right. Oh. This isn't fully sealed either, is it? No. Oof. Crash. Not good, not good. I got sucked in. Oh, damn, it was annoying. I could see it starting to happen. I was trying to avoid it, and I dropped the mouse, and it was too slow. Never mind. Hopefully it's not too bad damage and I will survive. That was very annoying. It's like, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna crash, and I grabbed the mouse to turn and dropped it onto the mouse mat. Never mind. Fat fingers strikes again. Right, okay, we're starting to get a bit of an idea of how big this space is going to be now though, which is nice. Okay, right, so it's still very hot outside.
Waste tank caution.
I was going to say, and that is starting to burn through our oxygen quite quickly, I suspect. And that was the caution for it. So, right, okay. There's still quite a bit of welding to do. We need some more frames, we need some more sheets, but this will be a nice big room. Well, it'll actually be a couple of nice big rooms, because as we said last time, we're going to split this along here. So let's get a bit of an idea of how that might work.
Waste tank critical. Temperature high.
Okay, we're going to need to come back out, aren't we now? It's very frustrating. Might be able, if we've got 4%, that's not going to do much, is it? No. No, that really didn't. Okay. Oh wow, I nearly ran out of oxygen completely actually. I think I better go and recharge. Really don't want to get lung damage and die a second time. You can see how dangerous it is once you allow heat to build up in your base like this, though. It's very difficult to clear it quickly. Right, we're going to head on out. Now I know it's complaining about the waste tank, but I'm actually more concerned by that.
Critical.
Okay, right, let's go and patch this suit. Hopefully, yes, we have some there. And the helmet. Right, okay. Now, we still need more frames and more sheets, so I'm going to start some more building. Okay, we don't have a whole lot. I'm trying to try and build. Didn't really count them before it came up, but I think we probably need about 6 frames. Now, while that's doing it, right, I knew there was some ice quite nearby, so while that's doing that, I'm going to do this. So that's the only piece, isn't it? Yeah, okay, well, one piece is better than none. Okay. Almost perfectly timed, look at that. Right, okay, let's get some sheets. I think I may just let this burn through all of the rest of the steel. It's only going to do 21 sheets. I think we're going to definitely need that many. And then hopefully very shortly we can go down and close up the walls in the control room, at least the outer shell. I'm going to need more cable actually. I've just remembered that what we've got down there is already almost completely gone. Okay. Right, I'll take what we've got. Yeah, I'll take what we've got and leave that going for a minute. Happy for it to use all of that stack if it needs to. Okay, 31 degrees in here, 60-ish degrees in here. Okay, and this is even hotter. Right, however, that might help. Slightly, not huge amounts, but never mind. Right, okay, so the next thing to do is to... Oh, I have got cable there actually, more than I had realised. Let's get these on. Right, so we definitely need a frame in there. Where else are the missing frames? Okay, I haven't got enough here, but it's a start. I'm going to concentrate on the top because that's obviously where the risk is that we will breech. Okay, there we go, and we'll get the arc welder on. Right, let's... Ah, that's an iron frame, I hadn't realised that. Okay. It's unfortunate. That also suggests that's the end of the... Yeah, these are all iron frames. Right, okay, that suggests that we've gone out past the front of the hab, which is a real risk that we could go through the roof there. Okay. Right. Well, I guess let's go and see. We did have some iron sheets left up here. At one point, yes, 6. Okay. Thought I could do it without the jetpack, but I can't. Okay. Oh. There it is. Right, okay. Right, okay, that's somewhat safer. Okay, let's switch to the mining drill and just clean up the top there. Better not go too much further that way. I don't know how airtight that side is. Okay, and similarly, let's not tempt fate by drilling where we know there's a hole. We've had too many accidents on this build so far. Right. Site safety is our top priority though, honestly, I promise. Now then, let's grab those, let's grab these, let's go. Right, so we're going to run this along to here. Actually, I think last time I decided it would be more effective to put the screens on this wall, didn't I? Allow me to see them from further away.
power low.
Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to put a number of displays up here. So I know I want a display that we can use to show I think a medium will do, the amount of time until the next storm. Let's put that maybe this side. That feels like that's probably something that's useful to get a clear view from the bottom of the lift. Mind you, should be okay wherever we do it really. I'll put it over here. That will be fine. That's one. Now let's also have the HAB temperature and pressure. So we can set those up like that. Okay, that will do for now. Now we need to label these carefully. So that is going to be weather timer. Let's be clear that that's the greenhouse temp. Greenhouse pressure. Okay, actually the other one I do want, which we could put here, would fit quite nicely, is the battery charge. And we're going to use the graph display for that one. Okay, so what we'll do will be to use the sensors we've got elsewhere. Right, I also want this. I need one of these installed somewhere. It doesn't matter hugely which wall it's on actually, so I might put it over here. And let's put this one in here. Get rid of that and that. We'll be installing several of those around the base. Okay, so what I'm doing here is just really getting prepared for the next stage. I'm going to shortly be going down into the server room. Where did I put the glass sheets? I know they've got blown over here in amongst all the chaos. Right. Okay. So something's not connected somewhere. I think I may have found the problem, you know. Of course, typically I need one more piece of... Okay, right. There we go, this is now all up and running. Now obviously we need to program a number of these, which is fine, we'll do that shortly. However, next thing to check is, do we have power down here? Not to that, because I haven't actually connected it. Wow, I did a good job, didn't I? Okay, where's the... Please stay at... I thought I left it at the top. Right, okay. Okay, we have power. Let's just stack those together. Right, good, okay, get that out of the way. Clear the decks. Okay, so what we're going to do here is, first of all, we're going to tie one of these logic to the weather system, and we're going to tie one to the... Get the right angle. We're going to tie one to the weather system and one to the battery charge. So that's tied to the battery charge. That was easy. Oh, I really installed these badly, didn't I? And that one's to there, so let's turn these on. Okay, so this should now be mirroring the information we need. So we'll lay these out the same, so I'm going to pick this up first is what I'm going to do. Right, I'm going to, first of all I'm going to rename these. This is where naming becomes mega important, otherwise we just completely lose track. Right, so that one's connected to the... See, I already second guessing myself. That's connected to the weather, this is the battery. So I'm going to change that to say logic receiver, battery charge. I'm going to change this to say logic receiver, oops, weather. Okay, and then I'm going to use the exact same position on this grid here, and I'm going to call that weather and that battery charge. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tune this one in to logic receiver battery charge, logic receiver weather. I'm going to put it to the setting.
Hydration critical.
Put that to setting. Okay, so now we can see that battery charge is changing in real time. That information is now available for us to use elsewhere. So there's a few things we can do with that. The most obvious thing to do is to start to make that data available for warning systems, which is what I'm started doing over here. So this is connected just to the programming one. Now I've got a series of systems that work together here, and the idea is it's an expandable system. So I've got alert control here that monitors the pressure and fire warnings and a power warning, a greenhouse alert, and then we've got a supervisor and a hypervisor, and I'll explain how those work in a minute. So let's connect up. Let's first of all just start with the power alert one. So let's load that up. Now this one's actually designed to run on a solid fuel generator, so it's actually going to monitor the fuel tank level as well. So we might just need to disable that. But what this code does is it basically just sits there and monitors the status of the batteries, and if the battery charge drops below a certain level, 50,000, then at that point it will send an alert, and it actually has a choice of alerts here that it will send, and that will depend upon whether the charge is too low or whether the fuel which it's been monitoring up here, and if it's not charging, the direction of charge. Just trying to remember exactly what this code does. So let's put this onto a chip. I suspect it's going to need a little bit of work to configure this with the exact hardware setup we've got here, but I'm going to try to put it into that slot there because that's the closest equivalent. Okay, so first of all, let's just try and connect this to, so the battery, right. I actually don't think it needs all of these settings because this was originally written to function standalone. Okay, that definitely needs looking at. Line 23, what are we doing on line 23? This is obviously the thing when you repurpose code like this. This was a slightly more sophisticated setup I used on another base. Device 0, battery IC. Right. Let's maybe read the instructions as well. That's always good, isn't it? Right, I haven't actually told myself what I need to connect battery IC to. And I don't think we're using... I think that should be the input. That should be the logic reader. And it's only using that so D1, D5, D3. Okay, so it's reading all of them. Okay, this code's going to actually need a bit of work to stop using the fuel tank setting. Unless we just maybe we'll keep that and we'll connect up a fuel tank. Let's just try and see if we can get it working as is. I mean, it's not helping that this isn't pointing at anything, so I think this needs to be pointing at the logic receiver battery charge, potentially. Okay, it's now throwing an error somewhere else. So I think that one, yeah, okay, so without the fuel tank, this code needs some work. Okay, so I'm going to pop that off for a minute. The bit we should be able to get working reasonably quickly is the greenhouse monitor. So let's load that one up. So this is simply looking at the greenhouse gas. In fact, this is monitoring two gas monitors. And I'll look at this one for an O2 farm, which we haven't yet got. That's okay. We'll point it back at the greenhouse, and one for the main greenhouse. So we'll just set them both the same. For now, the main difference was the fact that I wanted to know whether I had problems in both or just one. So that will be fine. Let's confirm and export that code, and then we're going to put that on the middle chip there. Now, what we can't do at this stage is obviously to connect it to the greenhouse. Oops. We've got the output displays, but we haven't got the gas monitor. So that's fine, because what we'll do is we will go and install the other logic transmitter. Actually, I might make use of all of this cabling underneath the bridge here, since we've already got it. And it's connected to the same network. I'm going to grab that. So we'll put that there. We'll also need a logic I/O to write to it. Okay, hang on, let's connect it first. Whoops, pressed the wrong button. Did I leave all my cable down the bottom? No, I've got it in my backpack, I'm just an idiot. Where's the red paint gone? That's down the bottom, I bet. Of course it is. Yep, there it is. I realise I'm being extra fussy about paint, but I really don't want to mix up my networks. Right.
Waste tank caution. Power critical.
It's all going wrong again. It's because we're in this heat. Right, let's see if we can get any of this set up. We're actually going to need a reader and a writer, aren't we? Or can I set that? I wonder whether on a sensor I can set that directly to it. Probably not. Oh no, this is, I need to set that active anyway, don't I? Of course I do. Right, what am I talking about? That needs to go active, and then that means we call that one logic transmitter greenhouse. In fact, I'm just thinking we could use a logic mirror. I might do that just to show you something different. It would also be a simpler setup. Let's see if we can do that. We've got space here. Yeah, we could do that. Right, so what we can do here is use a logic mirror to pass the values. So we're going to connect this side. Try and do this before I start to suffer too badly. What's my internal temperature? Okay for the moment. Right, so we'll put this in here. Oh, what am I doing? Okay, so that connects the logic mirror. And then what we can do is we can point this at a device on that network. So we can point this at the gas sensor in the greenhouse, if I can find it. Gas sensor greenhouse. I can turn that on. That will now mirror all of the properties of gas sensor greenhouse. That's much simpler because that means we don't need to muck about with lots of logic. So mirror chips are good where you can physically connect two networks together. Definitely require less cabling and less logic, because had we used a transmitter we need to use on both sides a transmitter and a writer and a reader in order to read the value off the sensor, write the value to the transmitter, read the value from the transmitter, and then write it back over somewhere that we can see it over here. So that's a lot of chips, and we've got to do it once for temperature and once for pressure, so that really is quite a lot of chips. Whereas having connected that there, although it's on a physically different network, that allows us to see here these will now be able to set directly to that, and we don't need any of the logic downstairs to do that, but we can still have the chip set up to read from it. So we don't need to set our transmitter up over here, but need to get back up to the surface very soon. Oops, what am I standing on? Go away. Right. So this here can now just be set directly to the greenhouse, to the logic mirror rather, which is the greenhouse. So I set that there, and actually because this was expecting us to have two of these, I'm going to set them both to the same thing. And I'm going to turn that on, and that's now running, and that's got a state of 0, and that's fine. So I need to go and clearly get up the top and get sorted before I have more problems again. Come on, lift, go faster.
Oxygen low.
I don't think I can wait. Oh. Right, very urgent before I pass out. Okay, that was a little bit close for comfort. Right, we'll let things balance back out again. Why is that not running? Have we got the same silly problem we had before? I think we have. Let's pull the floor up and restart that. No, maybe there's just nothing in there. No, there's nothing in the chute. Okay. Seems that we have actually worked our way through all of the stuff that we mined, but as expected, all of the ice melted in the tubes. Right, okay, so we're going to go back down. Actually want the programming disk, which I can't remember where I left it. Might be inside at the top, I think. Right, temperature in here, 24. There it is. Okay, let's close that again. Right, okay, let's get down here and just try to demonstrate how this works. Should have got some. I've got water in my backpack. Right, so first thing to do is let's just get this set. Which I can't do directly off a logic mirror. I should be able to. Should have been the point of a logic mirror. Never mind. Okay, we'll deal with that separately. At least that's down here. We're going to need that anyway. Yeah, weirdly this gives lots of choices. In fact, I can set this directly onto there, and that's our first one up and running. We can actually see the display on the battery. Right, let's grab some water. Right. Okay, so now I'll show you how the alert system works, and then you'll see the way it's designed. It initially looks like it's quite excessive, but it's designed this way for a reason. So this is the... Oh, okay, we'll have to have a look at that. That looks like we've got an error. Okay, right, let's... greenhouse alert monitor. Have we got another chip? No, I thought we had one more. Okay, we don't. Fine. Well, we'll use this one then, which I'm going to take out and move.
Waste tank critical.
Put it the right way up. Oh, not again. Right, I haven't got enough chips, so I'm actually going to use these chips just to get the supervisor set up and the hypervisor. Right, so let's load up the supervisor code onto here. Right, so this piece of code here just sits and goes through all of the connected IC codes and all the IC chips and checks to see whether or not any of them are issuing an alert, and if it does, it then raises that and then moves to the next one. So it's a pretty simple piece of code. That's the alert one, and I'm going to do that so that we can tell which one's which. Okay, and then this one is the one that then connects that to the actual alert hardware. So it monitors the supervisor. Right, so it does need... We need to connect this then to some memory chips, so we'll have to go topside and get 3 memory chips. Actually, right, okay, so although this is the way this says it's set up, actually there's a better way to do it. So it's going to use the memory chips, and we are going to then use a bulk writer to write that out. So let's export that. Just realised what that irritating noise was. Let's put that in there. Okay, so at this point you're probably thoroughly confused, but what we're going to do with this is we're going to connect this to the IC greenhouse alert monitor, and that's the only one we're going to connect. So that no, it's really not happy, is it? Okay, that should just be monitoring. Right, what's going on? Device 0. Oh, okay, that should be 1, I think. Maybe. No. Not quite sure what's going on here, this is a bit strange. So R0 is 1. So it should load the prefab hash of device 1. Let's just make it, let's be clear that we're just connecting the right one to the right one. Unless this is something that has been changed, again it could be. This code was working a month or so back, but you never know, do you? Let's try that. Might need some debugging. Right, so it should be D0. So what it's trying to do is to check that it's connected to an IC. I think actually looking at this I can see the problem. We need to change this. I optimised the code. We actually have to increment that for the number of devices that are connected, and I did that to stop it chaining through a whole load of empty. Right, so this is now monitoring. It's only monitoring one thing, which is this, and this is reporting a state of 0 at the moment, so not an alert. What we then do is we then connect this. Let's turn that off before we cause all sorts of issues. Right. Okay, so possibly a bit more configuration or debugging required on this one. So that was complaining down here. Device 1. Okay, so we need some memory chips, that's why. So we need to connect 3 memory chips to this, and then I think we're good to go.
Hunger caution.
Loiter there for a minute and try and allow it to again bring a bit more heat through so it can start to cool down. We'll have the opportunity to test this very thoroughly shortly. Right, now we're definitely going to need more copper because I know I just left that running. Okay, that's actually got exactly enough to make 3. I'm hoping I don't need any more. But just in case. Try that in anyway. Right, turn that off. Oh, no, that only made 1. Okay. Don't quite know what happened there. It had the resources to make the rest, it just stopped after 1. Right, okay, hopefully we can now get this working. So this is going to be the very beginnings of the system. But obviously once we've got a system we can start to extend it. Okay, so we're going to put some memory chips in here. I'll put them in the top of here, and these are used by the hypervisor to send alerts to the hardware. We're also going to want, right, hang on. Right, okay, let's get Okay, so we're going to settings for siren on and siren warn, and the warning lights. Okay, so this is really as simple as setting these batch writers now to read from the correct memory. So this is siren warn, so we need to logic memory siren warn. The output type is going to be klaxon speaker, and this we're going to use the mode, I think, and then this one is going to read, whoops, klaxon speaker on, and the input for this one is going to be siren on. Of course this isn't doing anything yet. Flashing light on. Okay, so once values are placed in these memory chips, that will either turn on, well, we'll turn on the klaxon sirens and the flashing lights, and it will do that with the right message. Right, so what the siren on is 1, sound is 2, and the lights are 3. Okay, so let's put that in there. So that one, we're now going to set this to logic memory siren on. I'm going to set this to logic memory siren 1. I'm going to set this to logic memory siren lights. Okay, so that's now running. So the blue chip is the interface with these memory chips, which then batch write to all of the warning devices on the network. It decides whether or not to trigger the memory based on the settings that are being picked up from the yellow chip, the supervisor, and the supervisor sits and monitors all of these alert systems, which at the moment this is the only one, but in due course will plumb in several more, weather, battery, etc., and it will sit and monitor those, and if certain conditions are met, each of these systems are completely independent. They will have their own criteria, and they'll warn of something. If the warning is received by the supervisor, it will then pass that up to the hypervisor, which will prioritize it and send it out onto the siren network. So there we go, that's all done, so we can close all those up. That's a free one, isn't it? Yes, it is. There's a bit of iron there. So in theory that should all be up and running, and anything connected to this purple network should trigger. Actually, I don't want to go any higher than that. So you can hear that's actually going at the moment, and that's because I was obviously mucking about with values when I was setting it up. Right, so you can see it's working because it's actively turning that off. What it's not done is turned that off. So let's hope once the system comes up and running that starts to work properly, or it's going to be quite irritating quite quickly. Right. But we can now run this purple warning network wherever else we want to around the base. And obviously I need to be careful that I don't mix. This is why I've been so careful with the network colours. But if I were to line this up on this corner here.
Power low.
I suspect there may still be a little bit of configuration work to do. I don't think that siren would be going off if we got it quite right, but the fact that the lights are working is a start, right? So and in the very short term, if it gets too annoying, we can close that. Right. So this just comes up here. Right, now we run into probably other issues. I can't quite remember what's inside this wall. But obviously we do not want to cross-connect it. That's important. No, there's obviously something in the way in there. I'm going to have to inspect that from the other side. If I can. Right, see, that's interesting. I can't work out why that wouldn't want to connect to there. Let's throw that over there. Okay, well, given the complexity of the network in that corner, I actually think we might take it out and back round. Which is a little bit fiddly, but I think that's probably the easiest solution. Run that along outside. The good thing about that is that that actually does get a bit of purple network cable outdoors, which we can use to connect. Obviously sirens are no use because we won't hear them, but the flashing lights are useful. We will of course have to differentiate between that light and other flashing lights, but we'll worry about that in a minute. Right, okay, so we can bring this out here and along here. I think what we'll do is we'll bring it, I wonder if we can fit it onto that wall, possibly. We'd probably fit a klaxon at least. Yeah. Not sure how we're going to cross these red cables here without ripping flooring up, and I don't just mean floor grating, I mean actually opening up the frames and risking decompressing what's underneath, which is obviously not an option. I'd love to be able to get this across here and be able to fit a flashing light up here somewhere. Yeah, I think I'm going to put that crowbar away before I have an accident with it. Okay, that doesn't really look very practical, but what is practical is we could run it up onto the roof. Crazy though that at first appears, but I need to do this first. straight up that one, I think that's safer. Very difficult to see with the sun exactly where I'm trying to go. Okay, so it's a bit of a long journey, but we've got the cable, so that's fine. What I'm going to try to do is to bring it down probably here. Feels like that would be a good spot. Okay. And then, in theory, that should be connected.
Critical.
So I think what I'm going to do with these flashing lights that are connected up to the... Right, hang on. The ones that are actually connected up to the alert system is I'm going to colour them red. Feels like a good colour. Let's throw that back in there. Because what I don't want to do is to have any confusion. As to whether there's an alert going off or whether it's just the battery charger. Interestingly, you can almost hear some sound. I wonder whether there's enough atmosphere on Mars that a klaxon would work. I don't think it will. Kind of feel like it shouldn't. And usually I assume that we can't use a klaxon outside, but okay. I can still hear it going off in there. I think that was while I was configuring it. It passed through a state that turned it on, and it has yet to turn off. It's a bit fiddly because of the pipes, but I think we can do that. Okay, so the first proper test I think we can do is if I open this and the temperature really gets too high.
Warning, temperature low.
Okay, it's not quite right
Temperature low.
because it says temperature is low, however. Okay, that seems to have reset the system anyway. If I leave this open.
Warning, temperature low. Warning, temperature low.
Okay, so the temperature low and temperature high is clearly backwards.
Temperature low.
I'm not sure how that's happened. However, oh my goodness, I should probably have a warning, too many seeds. But you see the principle. Not only is it now an alert, but it's actually giving us some information on what the problem is. And that's really the point of this system, and that will sound right through the base. And obviously, you can also see outside, we won't be able to hear it, but we will see that. And because of the way that the circuit works, the flashing light will be periodically turning on and off, which actually is a really good way of getting your attention, because it's not just like one that's constantly on, which you do tend to tune out. So now we just need to slightly modify the code. Still hear it going. So the good thing is this is completely modular, so we know that this is the code and it's in here. Okay, so I think probably what we need to do is look up the klaxon and see what it is. So we need to add 1 to these, because actually 0 for us means it's turned off. So alarm 1 would be 1. So 41 is adding and becoming 42. So that's the issue. I'm just looking at this just to try and work out why that's set the way it is. Right, sorry, I'll just analyse this code and try and figure out what we're doing. So what's being set is R3. R3 is R3 multiplied by R2. R2 turns on if either of them are low. So low temperatures sets R2 to 1. It should add 1. Okay, I think it is fine. I think it is as simple as, I need to change that there. I think it is as simple as that. Whoops. Hello, can I pick up, please? It's very strange. Right, let's close the Stationpedia in case. Yeah. Okay, that was quite weird. Okay. Right, so this is now reporting a status of 0. Let's vent the waste tank on the way up, shall we? Just realised how little oxygen we've got left. Better go and fix that as well, hadn't we? However, let's open this for a minute.
Warning, temperature high.
That's better.
Warning, temperature high. Warning, temperature high.
Okay, so I think we're going to call that a day there. You can see that's taken, notwithstanding a few mishaps, the best part of 3 hours to get configured.
Air tank critical.
In fact, it may have taken more than 3 hours to get configured with the little issue we had with the video earlier. However, we've now got a base-wide system for reporting alerts in any base system that we need to, connected up to this purple data network. We've got it working for the greenhouse temperature, but next time we will connect it up to this. We just need to modify the IC code because the out-the-box code that I wrote for my other base relied on a gas fuel generator, which we haven't yet built. We will build one, and I'm also going to put together some code next time or before next time for the weather alert as well, so that it can warn us when there's an incoming storm. That should be relatively straightforward. It just needs to read the logic value off that weather sensor, and if it's not 0, it needs to report something. So we'll get that done next time. But in the meantime, we've got the basis of that up and running. It's been a bit painful, but we've also laid out obviously a lot of space down there. We've got a functional server room. So I hope you have found that interesting. A few mishaps along the way, as is often the case with Stationeers as you get more complicated. Some things that don't quite work, but I'm fairly happy with that as a result. As I say, it's a simple system at the moment that is only reporting base-wide the results of that gas sensor you can see there, but the important thing is it is reporting data base-wide. We have a purple data network that is wired all around, and we have klaxons and lights in some of the key locations, and I think next time we'll probably add more around the base. So we'll probably add as we expand this area down there, but we might add another one in this top part, for example. So there we go. Hopefully you found that interesting. As always, I will be publishing the IC code to the workshop. I might just clean it up a little bit first. There's obviously a couple of minor bugs I've found there along the way, so I'll try and clean that up and get that published, and there will be a link in the video. So see you next time.